Yo, welcome back to Ball Knowledge. Today, we are going to be doing the 2025 playoff predictions. Obviously, the playoffs have already started, so we're just going to go from current. Before we get started, however, we're going to go over quickly of yesterday's and today's games. Yesterday, we saw New York beat Pistons in Game 3. Cat with 31 points, 8 rebounds. He shot 10 of 18. And Brunson with 30 points, 9 assists, and 7 rebounds. The Detroit arena was electric, but that did not matter for New York. Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson once again putting on offensive clinics. We also saw the Clippers win by 34 at home to take a 2-1 lead against the Nuggets with a good contribution from all starters of the Clippers. Despite Jokic putting up 23, 13, and 13, shooting 9 of 14. Another crazy game, we saw the Oklahoma City Thunder come back from a 30-point deficit. The Grizzlies were actually up 29 points before Lu Dort took out Ja Morant's feet on a dunk attempt. And while I don't think it was intentional, it was a very silly play by Lu Dort. Moving on to today's games, the Bucks take Game 3 at home. Gary Trent and Giannis with a masterclass. They both had 37 points. Might do a recap on that video. Stay tuned. We'll see what happens. The Magic also take Game 3. Paolo and Wagner showing out again. They combined for 61 points of the Magic's 95. Tatum also had 36 despite a wrist injury. And we also got the Lakers versus Wolves. It's currently halftime. The score is 58-54 LA. And now that we're done with the recap, let's move on to the predictions. Here we have the updated playoff bracket. Thunder vs Grizzlies. I think this will end in a sweep for the Thunder. With Ja Morant out, he's questionable for Game 4. You know, the 30-point comeback. Yeah, the Grizzlies have home. It will be a stretch even if they take this game. Unless Thunder want to end the first round at home, I think this is in the books. I think this series is basically over. Next, we have the Clippers versus the Nuggets. My prediction is Clippers will beat the Nuggets in 6. This series has been probably the most entertaining first round matchup we've seen. We have Clippers home court advantage. They're currently up 2-1. Kawhi Leonard has been on an absolute tear. People are finally starting to realize how good Kawhi Leonard really is when he's healthy. We also have Westbrook is injured. He only played 9 minutes last game. The team just isn't the same as a few years ago. Michael Porter Jr., he's been struggling. Denver just don't have enough shooting, and they also just lack the depth to compete with the Clippers offensively, even with Jokic, who, if you've watched my other videos, I think he should be the MVP. But the Clippers, their starting 5 is just too good. Chris Dunn has just been an absolute menace defensively, and the other starters have been on an offensive tear. Up next, we got the Lakers and the Wolves. My prediction is the Lakers will beat the Wolves in 6. Currently, they are playing Game 3. The score is just 103-103. So currently, I think the Lakers will win in 6. We got the Luka and Anthony Edwards rematch. Both teams have struggled offensively this series. LeBron, his first dominant game is Game 3. He's got 38 points right now. Doncic will continue to torch the Wolves defense. Timberwolves in Game 1 had an anomaly. They shot 50% from 3. Game 2, they were brought back down to earth. They just shot 20% from 3. Now, I can assure you I'm not biased when I give this prediction, but moving on, we've got the Warriors versus the Rockets. I do have the Warriors beating the Rockets in 7. Once again, I assure you I'm not biased. Even if Jimmy Butler misses Game 3 from the injury that Amen Thompson caused, and Amen Thompson did cause it, wasn't Draymond. A lot of people saying Draymond pushed him. No, he didn't. Look at the replay. Everyone just likes to bag Draymond because of his reputation, but it wasn't him. Even if Jimmy misses Game 3, I think the Warriors on their home floor can steal games 4 or 3. Obviously, the Warriors looked a little shaky when Jimmy got injured and lost in Game 2. But if there's one thing we should have learned by now, the Warriors have Stephen Curry, the greatest shooter and arguably the greatest player of all time. How many times does he need to remind us that when he's on the court, he can win any game? I think Jimmy Butler said it best.
I think any team has a chance when I'm on the team, but I know that every team has a chance if Steph's on the team. So I get to play Robin. That's my Batman, and I don't know who else is. We got all the villains over there, Two-Face and Joker and Riddler, everybody else in the Western Conference. But we got a lot of games to win.
I do believe the Warriors will close it out in Game 7 in hostile territory. Moving on to the Eastern Conference, we've got the Cavaliers versus the Miami Heat. I have the Cavs taking this in a sweep all 5 games. Heat's offense is underwhelming compared to the Cavaliers. The Cavaliers have the depth, while the Heat's success is almost solely reliant on how Tyler Hero can carry them. Davion Mitchell, however, has also been having a good series. He's currently scored 18 points in both games. He shot 8 of 12 in Game 1 and 7 of 9 in Game 2, racking up 6 assists and 9 assists respectively. So anyway, with Miami Heat's home floor coming up tomorrow, it's certainly possible for them to steal a game. However, I think this series is over, especially without Jimmy Butler. This Heat team has gotten significantly worse. Next up is the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Indiana Pacers. And now, once again, I implore this. I am not biased. I have the Bucks beating the Pacers in 7 games. The Bucks are struggling offensively. We've seen it in Game 1. We saw it in Game 2. Game 3, we won it today. I did a little mini recap of it. Gary Trent, Giannis playing fantastically. Damian Lillard shot 2 for 12. He just came back from a blood clot. Let's give him till Game 4 to fully recover. I'm sure we'll see what Dame is fully capable of before the series is over. The Bucks players are starting to step up. Bobby Portis, he scored 28 points, including 6 threes. He didn't have as good of a game today, but he still was one of the best role players on Milwaukee. Giannis is continuing to be great. The Pacers offense is incredible. I mean, the pace they play with, the spacing they get, the amount of threes they are able to find wide open, being able to exploit Lopez in the pick and roll. I do have a recap of Game 2. I might do one in Game 3 as well, just going over more technical individual plays in Game 3. I'm not sure. Maybe stay tuned in for that. Milwaukee's home provides such a big boost, especially coming back from such a hostile Indiana arena. I'm sure the Bucks players love that, especially Bobby Portis, man. Every single time he comes to Milwaukee, you can just hear the chants. Everyone loves him in Milwaukee, including myself. I think the Bucks will continue to step it up. We've seen it. Game 1, they were horrible. Game 2, we saw a little bit better, especially in the first quarter. Game 3, could be because of home court, but they certainly stepped it up in Game 3, and that's what gave us the win. I think the Bucks are going to continue to figure it out, and I think they could win in 7. Next, we've got the Knicks versus the Pistons. I do have the Knicks beating the Pistons in 6. As much as I want Detroit to prevail, as much as I want to see Cade and Duren and Malik Beasley make it through the next round and play Celtics, which I haven't gotten to yet, I think the Knicks offense is just too strong. Karl-Anthony Towns has just been on an offensive tear. Jalen Brunson doing the same thing. I spoke about it a little earlier in this video. They are an offensive engine, and Brunson is playing like last season's playoff. It's been very hard for the Pistons to contain Brunson, especially in the clutch. Next, we've got the Celtics versus the Magic. I know I briefly spoke about it a few seconds ago, but I think the Celtics will beat the Magic. We saw the Magic take Game 3. My prediction is that the Celtics will beat the Magic in 5. As much as I'm rooting for the Magic to upset the reigning champs, I think this series is over. Magic just don't have the shooting, even with Jason Tatum being injured. They aren't able to take advantage. The Magic, their defense, one of the best in the league, if not the best. But there is just simply not enough shooting to be able to contend with the Celtics. I think maybe with like a crazy low-scoring, gritty game, offensive prowess by Paolo and Wagner, they could steal another game. But I think Boston outclasses them 9 times out of 10. And they won Game 3, and they won Game 3. Credit to the Magic. They played pretty well, but they heavily relied on Paolo and Wagner, and I don't think that's sustainable. So I have got the Magic losing in 5. I've got the Celtics prevailing. That is all from the first round. Let's move on to round 2. Starting off with the Thunder versus the Los Angeles Clippers. If my prediction ends up being right, which Chances are it's probably not. I think this could be a very good conference semifinals matchup. Both teams are defensive juggernauts, both top 3 in defensive rating, with Thunder at 1 and the Clippers at number 3. And while the Thunder did sweep the Clippers in the season series, they only played Kawhi Leonard once, and in that game they only won by 2 points. It will be certainly a chess game between Lou Dort and James Harden. James Harden in the regular season struggled to shoot against the Thunder, and we also saw it in the bubble, Lou Dort playing defense on James Harden. So it should be very exciting. I do think with Kawhi Leonard, this matchup will be very, very different. And in saying so, I believe the Clippers will come out on top in 7 games. Next, we have a much desired matchup between the Lakers and the Warriors, a rematch between Stephen Curry and LeBron James. This series will certainly get people excited. I think it will be a great series if it happens, because chances are it might not happen. And the result on this series is heavily reliant on the availability of Jimmy Butler. If he is only playing at 50%, or if he doesn't return at all, I think the Lakers will take this series. And on the assumption that Jimmy Butler will return and he will be playing at full capacity, I've got the Warriors winning in 6 games. It's no secret what kind of impact Jimmy Butler has on the Warriors, both offensively and defensively. And while the Lakers won the season series 3-1 against the Warriors, those games were without Jimmy Butler. And the reason the Lakers were able to match up so well against the Warriors is because of Anthony Davis. And with Anthony Davis out of the team, as he was involved with the trade for Luka, Draymond Green is able to switch more onto Luka, and we know what kind of defense Draymond can play, because there's no real big man threat on the Lakers. Jackson Hayes is not a threat, he's a lob threat, and that's about it. We've got Warriors in 6, let's move on. We've got the Cleveland Cavaliers versus the Milwaukee Bucks. Assuming the Bucks can actually get past the Pacers, the Cleveland Cavaliers will be a legendary matchup to watch. The first game in the regular season between these two Eastern rival teams, the Cleveland Cavaliers only came out on top by 1 point off a buzzer beater by Donovan Mitchell. They played back-to-back, and in the second game, the Cleveland Cavaliers only won by 2 points. If that's not indicative of what kind of series is to come, then I'm not sure what is. If it occurs, which I hope it does. Nevertheless, I've got the Cleveland Cavaliers winning in 6 games. Next up, we've got the Celtics versus New York, 2 of the top 5 offenses in the league during the regular season. These teams faced each other 4 times during the regular season, with the Celtics winning all 4, including opening day, a historic night for the Celtics, not only blowing the Knicks out by 23 points, but also hitting 29 3-pointers, tying the all-time record in threes made in a single game by a team. Nevertheless, I think the Celtics will come out on top. I think they match up well against Jaylen Brown. I think they can somehow neutralize Karl-Anthony Towns, of which are the 2 main threats of New York. I think the Celtics win in 6 games. Moving on to the Western Conference Finals, we got the Clippers versus the Golden State Warriors. If this matchup was actually going to occur, I think it would be pretty cool, as both teams in the final game of the regular season were actually battling for a playoff spot, and obviously the Clippers won that game, and the Warriors needed to play the Grizzlies in the play-ins. But I think it will be a very fun matchup. We saw that game go into overtime. It always seems to be a chess match when these two teams played. They played each other 4 times during the regular season, and the Clippers winning all 4, of which only winning by a margin of 10 points or less. The Clippers seem to match up really well against the Warriors. They've got a big in Zubac, who's had an awesome season, a Defensive Player of the Year candidate, also a Most Improved Player candidate. James Harden obviously torching defenses this season, as well as Chris Dunn being an awesome primary ball defender. And don't even get me started on Kawhi Leonard. I mean, this guy, when he's healthy, he has been a top 5 player in the league. I don't think the Warriors will have much of an answer. I think they'll make it competitive. Obviously, Steph Curry, assuming Jimmy Butler is still playing, I think they'll take a couple of games, but I've got the Clippers winning in 6. And for the first time in franchise history, I think the Clippers will make the NBA Finals. And to see their opponent, we're going to be moving on to the Eastern Conference Finals between the Celtics and the Cavaliers. The Celtics and Cavaliers are undisputedly the best Eastern Conference teams in today's NBA. There's no question about it. The Knicks, they are not on the same level as the Cavs and the Celtics. Those two teams played each other 4 times during the regular season, splitting the season series 2-2, including a 25-3 run by Boston in the first 4 minutes of their final matchup. The Cavaliers end up coming back and winning, making another yet again memeable moment of Jason Tatum. And if you paid attention to last year's playoff, the Celtics absolutely blew past the Cavaliers, but this time it's different. The Cavaliers have stepped up. They won 16 more games in the regular season. They increased their offensive rating from 115 to 121, leading the NBA. Their defense got better. Individually, Evan Mobley, Defensive Player of the Year, he's been awesome. The starting lineup of Donovan and Darius Garland was a most improved player candidate. He's been great, and the team is deep. Ty Jerome is one of the best shooters in today's NBA, and we can see it. That being said, I think the Cleveland Cavaliers will win in 7, making it their first NBA Finals appearance since LeBron James in 2018. Clippers versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. My prediction, they will face each other in the NBA Finals. Obviously, the Clippers first time in the NBA Finals, Cleveland first time in 7 years. This will be a matchup to remember. We've got Donovan Mitchell going up against James Harden, 2 of the best offensive players. Donovan Mitchell is the biggest playoff riser in history. Kawhi Leonard, we've got Zubac versus the 2 bigs in Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. Clippers in the last 15 games of the regular season were the best offensive team in the league, going up against Cleveland, who was consistently the best team. Honestly, I think this matchup can go either way, but defensively, I think the Cleveland Cavaliers will come out on top, and I think Donovan Mitchell will win his first ring in 7 games at Cleveland home court.